we've gone over the basic scheduling script, you're ready to take on a new patient phone call. Almost. There are a few key elements we need to cover before we get into scheduling their day and their time. Because the first thing we need to do is identify if the person on the other end of the line is a new patient or an existing patient. And as you're new, you won't recognize the patient's name. In a few weeks, when you recognize either patients' voices or names, this will become a little easier. But until you have that point, when someone calls and says, I need to come in, or I need to make an appointment, or I need to see the doctor, the first thing you're going to say is, when was the last time you saw the doctor? Now, if it's an existing patient, there have been times where they've told me, I was just in 2 days ago. Great! What was your name again? Or something more polite. You know it's an existing patient. When they say, well, I've never been in, that's your key to grab your new patient form that should be sitting at your front desk that's in your manual you received. And the great thing is you don't have to have all of this memorized. You just have to follow all the questions on the sheet. Now, what's not on the sheet is a confidence statement, and that usually gives me enough time. So when the person on the other line has said, I've never seen the doctor, then I'll say, you've absolutely called the right place. And now we go into filling out the form. And the first thing we do is say, Sally, could I please get a few bits of information from you? You just ask permission. It's a polite thing to do. And the first piece of information that we want is their phone number. Because in this day and age, how many people are calling on a cell phone and they might be driving around town and they've just passed your office and they've just thought of it and thought, if I don't do it now, it's going to be another week because I thought of this 2 weeks ago and I've yet to make the appointment. We live in a world of cell phones, and we know cell phone reception can be cut off now and then. So what I want you to do is say, Sally, can I get your phone number in case we get cut off? Because typically they'll have said their name. Ask for the phone number first. If they haven't identified their name, you still simply say, could I please get your phone number in case we get cut off? Because if they get cut off, they're not guaranteed to call you back. Because they might be at a red light. They might have just passed a cop. They might be at a child's sporting event and something exciting just happened and they'll think, oh, I'll get it in a second, and then life happens and you don't. So we always want to ask for the phone number so we can take the responsibility to call them back. Again, it's a service thing. Then we ask for the spelling of their first and last name. Now, if you've heard their name and remember, fantastic. But you still want to spell it right. My name's Amy. It's spelled A-M-Y. But I know an Amy that spells it A-I-M-E-E. I know an Amy that spells it A-M-I-E. And I even know an Amy that spells it A-M-Y-E. Lots of different ways. So just for simplicity and honoring, because if you have a name that's not spelled right, it just doesn't seem like it's you. Once you've asked for the name and phone number, the next thing we're going to do is say, who can we thank you for the referral? This is the only seed that we really plant during this phone call. And we do this for 2 reasons. Number one, we want to tell this new person it's very common for people to refer others into our office. The second reason is, and this comes very important, is if they are referred in by an existing patient, and when we get to try and schedule them for time, and they need to come in at a different time, we have a rule. If they came in from the internet, if they came in from a sign, if they came in from a phone book, and they don't want to stick with the new patient times we have designated, we don't make an exception. When they have come in referred by an existing patient, we will make that exception doctor approved, and that's how we know if we can break that rule or not. So it's very important to ask that question, who can we thank for the referral? Once we've gotten there, and again, remember this is going to all be on your paper, now we go into that basic scheduling script. And with new patients, we want them the day they called or the next day, as many times as possible. So we'll say, Sally, did you want today or tomorrow? And then obviously if they're calling at 11 o'clock, you probably don't have morning available. So if they want today, then you go into just earlier or later afternoon. If it's 8 in the morning and they say today, you can say, great, Does morning or afternoon work? Early or late, and give 2 times. And if they say tomorrow, same thing. Morning or afternoon, early or late, and offer 2 times. Once you've set the appointment, you want to verify that they know where you're located. Even if the person then says, I just drove by and thought I need to call you, verify that they have called the right place. I say this because I've made the mistake where I took a new patient call and I asked her, do you know where we're located? And she said, yeah, I drive by you every day. We're in a smaller community and Walmart is a half mile up the road. So a lot of people pass us every day. So I thought, okay. The next day came and at 3 o'clock, Joan didn't show up. And I gave her a call and guess what? She went to a different chiropractor's office. And I laughed thinking to myself, don't ever take even the simplest things for granted. Always verify. So what we do now is, yeah, I just drove past you. Great. So you know we're right on the corner of Highway 77 and Sargent next to Godfather's. Yep. Great. Once you've verified where they are, we do paperwork online. If you do paperwork online, you want to instruct them where to go. Well, you want to ask if they have access to a computer or the internet, and if they do, you want to direct them how to get to your website, on what tab they want to go to, and how to find the paperwork. There's no right or wrong. I know doctors that want, for time's sake, the paperwork to be filled in so that they can just get the ball rolling when the patient walks in the door. I know some doctors that want the paperwork filled in because they want that relationship created. They want that personal commitment between the CAs and the patient started through the paperwork. It's really whatever your doctor prefers, so make sure you know which one. If it is something that they come in, make sure you tell the patient, please come a few minutes early to allow time for paperwork to be filled out. Once you've done all those things, you want to confirm their appointment time and date, and thank them, and tell them you'll see them soon. Now remember when I talked about that we need that referral? Let me illustrate it to you. So Sally calls in and I said, who can we thank you for your referral? And she'll say, my neighbor Joan. Oh, Joan is great. We love her to death. Now we're going to skip down. So Sally, I have an appointment this afternoon. Did you want an early or late? And she says, well, I need a later appointment. Great, I have a 3:30 available. And Sally says, oh, no, I need like a 5. Well, for our new patient, the last available I have today is 3:30. And she says, I have to work and I've got a coworker out and there's no way I can get in before 5. I really need to get in today. And that's when you say, Sally, let me put you on hold real quick and ask the doctor if we can make an exception. Now, in our office, we do go talk to Dr. Mike to make sure that his schedule doesn't have something we're unaware of, or that there isn't something that is going to cause a conflict. 90% of the time, we make that that exception. So you're going to go back to the phone and say, you know what, Sally, because Joan referred you in and she is such a great patient and we love her so much, we want to make sure that we can help you out. So Dr. Mike said 5 o'clock would be okay for you to come in. Now, because it's not a normal time we have new patients, it might take a little bit longer, but we just want to let you know that. But 5 o'clock will work, so we'll see you today at 5. Now, did you see what I did there? I made the exception for her, but I made her know that why she was given the exception, because we want to set that tone that we don't want the patient to tell us what's going to work. I controlled that conversation. And we also want Sally to understand that it's going to take longer than our typical new patient time, because we know that Sally's going to have such a great experience that she's going to refer in other people. But for a new patient time that maybe takes 30 to 45 minutes, hers might have taken 45 minutes to an hour. And we don't want her to give that information that's not a true representation of what it actually takes. So we let the patient know. So then Sally knows to say, well, I went in at an odd time, so it took longer. I'm not sure how long it would take. Those little seeds that you plant along the way help make the chaos of your office more organized and controlled. So good luck with all the new patients that will be calling in, and understand, watch this video a couple times. You'll have your cheat sheet, and know that as soon as you have asked, when was the last time you saw the doctor, you give that statement of confidence. They've called the right place as you're grabbing for that form, and you get to read the form as it goes, and we don't have to have it memorized. But it's very important that we stick to this, and that's why I want you to use those forms, because when we miss one little detail, it really can throw off something to where I didn't verify that you knew where we were and they went to the wrong place. Have fun.